Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Mon. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. I know we are about 15 minutes early, guys, but Mon and I just could not wait to get on here and talk Bengals football with you. A lot to talk about, and really nothing to do with the Ravens Bengals game, right, Mon? A lot of things happening off the field. We're going to talk about all of it. Uh, we want you guys to make sure you comment in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts. Again, we're gonna talk about the Joe Burrow thing, obviously, guys, and the Trey Hendrickson situation, and everything else that goes into this crazy ass year that we have witnessed as Bengal fans. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you. We appreciate you as always. Mon, before we get started, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. I was telling you, I was in Spaces a few minutes ago, got a little fired up at some people. I apologize to them, whoever they are. But just got my Lebanese Irish up, and let's talk Bengals. It's been a really crazy couple days, and
It has been.
there's a lot to talk about. I think this Raven game is going to get about 3 minutes on our show tonight. So
I didn't even think I think that's probably the over 3 minutes. I don't know if we're going to talk that much about it.
let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let's get started with obviously. Well, actually, no. Let's go to Trey Hendrickson first. Let's do Trey Hendrickson first because the Burrow situation is probably going to take about an hour. Let's talk about Trey Hendrickson here, Mon, and again the saga that is Trey Hendrickson has finally come to an end. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's in stripes next year. I don't know what the chances of that are. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Trey Hendrickson on the IR now. His season pretty much done for the most part. Mon, 5 games, $30 million later. Again, this season just one shitstorm after another. This is probably right on the front end of it. My first question to you is this the last that we have seen of Trey Hendrickson in a Bengals uniform? What do you think?
To answer the question quickly, yes, I think it is. And I just want to add something here. He's going to be one of my all-time favorite Bengals, the best free agent signing ever for the Cincinnati Bengals. Deserves a lot of credit. And I know there's some fans out there frustrated with his season. I am one of them, expecting a little bit more. But, I think if anybody on this team deserves the benefit of the doubt when it comes to injury, I think Trey Hendrickson does. And I hope, I wish him nothing but the best, but I don't see him in Cincinnati next year. I just don't see it happening.
What a man, oh man. And again, I was one of those. I was one of those on the forefront. I'm not going to back down from it. I was one of those on the forefront that I was just like, no, we cannot trade Trey. I do not want to trade Trey. We are not a good football team without Trey. Our defense sucks without Trey. And you didn't want to see Trey go, but you definitely were looking at a possible trade situation and getting something for him. Obviously, the way it all turned out, you definitely you definitely were right on that front, Mom. It's crazy, right? That the Bengals have this incredible pass rusher. They pay him a nice little bonus this year, gets his contract up to $30 million. He plays 5 games. He doesn't get the surgery sooner. Again, I don't know what really happened with that, Mon. But Zach Taylor seemed very frustrated with the whole situation. Is this a situation again? I know you said you want to give Trey the benefit of the doubt, and I'm with you on that. But is this a situation where Trey made a business decision, or is this a situation that the Bengals uh, to be honest with you, I don't know how else to say it, but fumbling the situation as far as maybe not getting this surgery done sooner, waiting all this time, not putting him on IR, and now we're in a situation where we have no Trey for the rest of the year. What again, Mon? Where is this lie? Where is this situation lie? And I don't want to say who's at fault, but who's at fault here? I mean, is this a Trey situation? Is this them not giving him extra years on his contract? I don't know, man. It's just a shitstorm, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a lot there. Just real quick, like I wanted him to be a Bengal from day one. I didn't want him to leave. I wanted him to sign that big
I
contract.
know you did.
And I did, but I did, and it was getting so contentious. It was getting drawn out. I didn't want it to be a distraction. And if somebody could offer a second round pick, first round pick, you got to consider it. But reports came out after the trade deadline. I don't think they got more than a third or a fourth round offer for him.
That's true.
Saying that, you know what? I just said it a few minutes ago. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's a business decision. But I will say this. I said it on last week's show. We saw it for 2 years. We even saw it with Jesse Bates a little bit when he played on the 1-year contract. When he played on that 1-year franchise tag, when T. Higgins played on the franchise tag for 2 years, little tweaks, soft tissue injuries, guys are going to be extra cautious. They're not going to go out and risk a potential catastrophic injury. I think that we might have seen that a little bit with Trey Hendrickson with his sports hernia. He was going to try to see if rehab, if he could do something, more, rehab wise before getting cut. And then now he's had surgery and he's not going to play the rest of the year. So, again, I think some of the blame does go for the Bengals. Some of these marquee star players, and they got 1-year deals. If they pull a hamstring, they got a little tweak here and there, they're going to be extra cautious. They might sit out 1, 2, 3 more games to get fully healthy before they come back. Players want security. I'm not saying it's right. The Bengals did take care of him. They gave him $12 million more on top of his existing contract. You got to salute the Bengals for that. But I just think there's some ill will. I go back to that press conference 2 weeks ago when they were asking Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor looked really irritated.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he's going to be a Bengal next year. I think it's time to move on. One of the greatest Bengals of all time, one of the best free agent acquisitions. He deserves praise. I don't want to, I want to salute the guy. And I wish he was healthy. I wish he was playing. He makes us a better team. It's not the case.
It's kind of weird, right? Because Zach was, like you said, he definitely there was some tension there, right? When they asked him about it, they asked him about Shamar Stewart this week, and Zach was like, "Oh, he's done everything we've asked him to do. He's been sitting in the front row of every meeting." And then you go back to the Trey situation. They asked him the same thing about Trey, and he's like, "I haven't seen Trey in any of the meetings. He's been with the rehab people." There's definitely something happened there between Zach. Yes, we are live. Fuzzy balls. Yes, we are live. There's definitely something between Zach and Trey, and because again, he's coming out this week and praising Shamar Stewart for being in every meeting and sitting in the front row and yada yada yada. So yeah, very very interesting situation. I don't think we'll ever really know what happened with all of that, but man, I would love to have been a fly on the wall to know what exactly happened with the Trey situation. Is he done in Cincinnati? I don't know. I hope not. But man, oh man, it's to get something done now would just be, I don't know.
How can they? I mean, honestly, if you think about it,
I mean, they could franchise him. They could franchise tag him, and try to get maybe something for him, a draft pick or something. I don't know, but the Bengals still hold some of the cards here as far as if they want to franchise tag him, but I don't know if they want to do that, Mon. I just don't see them doing that. So who knows?
He's 31, coming off an injury. I don't think he's going to have a massive trade market. Bengals have 80 million in salary cap space. Tagging them takes 25, almost 30 million of it.
Yeah.
The Bengals are going to have to go out and sign some players this offseason. There's no excuses. They're going to have to add a lot of pieces. They really don't have any big pending contracts coming up. They really don't. They could re-sign DJ Turner, maybe Miles Murphy, Dax Hill. They, consider that, but they don't have a T to sign this offseason. They don't
Right.
have a Chase. They don't have a Burrow. They have got to be more active in free agency. They don't have to knock it out of the park, get superstars on defense, but you got to get a little bit better than like the Nick Scotts and some of this valuable depth pieces. You got to get guys that come in that can mentor these young guys because we're still going to be a young defense in 2026.
Agreed. Yeah, Roland, they did when they put him on IR, they said it was a hip core injury. So again, as Mon said, some kind of a sports hernia somewhere. What would they say? Somewhere in his core too. So obviously, it is what it is. I mean, the trade situation, we'll see what happens. But on to more important news is number 9, right? Joe Burrow this week. Man, oh man. I mean, again, Mon, just one shitstorm after another. This has just been this whole season needs to be put on reset. Joe Burrow in his presser was asked the question of, kind of coming back from the injury and all those type of things. And we saw a different side of Joe this week, and definitely concerning. The media, obviously, as soon as it happened, every single Bengal fan on this planet knew that the national media was going to take this thing and just absolutely run with it, which they absolutely have. I want to ask you first, Mon, is this a situation where we should be very concerned? Is this a situation where, because Joe Burrow really he doesn't really pull punches when he talks. So you usually get a very genuine answer from Joe Burrow. Is this just a Joe Burrow frustrated? Is this a situation we should be worried about? What are your initial thoughts on what Joe Burrow had to say earlier in the week?
Yeah, it's been a lot of discussion on social media spaces. It's something that needs to be discussed. It's something that the Bengals need to take very seriously. Joe Burrow is not going to leave the Cincinnati Bengals. He's not getting traded. We know that nonsense from the national media is not going to happen. But I will tell you this: if they ignore it, if they don't address it, it might happen in 2 or 3 years. Those discussions could happen then. They got to take it serious. And, a lot of people are blaming the national media. This isn't about the national media. This is about Joe Burrow's press conference. And I think a lot of people on Twitter, they're talking about, get up, what they said, Greenberg, all these people. Ignore those guys. Let's focus on what was actually said, the demeanor at the press conference. That's what's concerning. Joe Burrow he has an ego. He's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He looks at Jalen Hurts. He looks at Mahomes. He looks at Allen. He looks at all these guys. He sees their records. He sees their MVPs. He sees what's going on. 3 years in a row, he's not going to be in the playoffs. Legacies are built on championships. They're built on wins. He's not getting them. And I think he's frustrated about that. He wants to know, can he get that in Cincinnati? I think it was a salvo sent to the front office. I think he did it. I think he was trying to get some attention there. I don't know if it's a shot at Zach Taylor. I think he's close to Zach Taylor. I don't know if it's a shot at Duke Tobin or Mike Brown, but he's obviously frustrated and he wants something done. Guys, I just want to, you guys need to be fans the way you want to be fans, but don't get caught up on what other fan bases are saying about our team. Let's worry about Joe and what he said, because we need to make sure he's happy in Cincinnati. I don't care what Mike Greenberg says. I don't care what these guys say. I really don't. Yeah. It's about what was said at our press conference. And man, he was I thought it was very telling. It's not a crash out. It's something that needs to be monitored. And we're going to see how serious the Bengals feel about Joe Burrow, that football team, and the fan base in the next few weeks.
Well, listen, I think this is right. Number one, you're 100% right. We need to turn our focus away from the national media. Guys, when this all happened, every single 99% of the Bengal fans probably looked at each other and said, oh boy, here we go. Right. Because we know what the national media, they love to create a circus that's usually never there for the Bengals. Right. They did the same thing with Jamar. They did the same thing with T. They have done this constantly over and over. And now they're bringing up Carson Palmer and all this past shit. Joe Burrow is not Carson Palmer, Bengal fans. This is not a guy who, when times get tough, is trying to quit or walk away. That's Carson Palmer. Joe Burrow is not built like that. And I think you're right, Mon. I think we need to look more at what was said and Joe Burrow himself, right? First of all, let me say this. Mon, imagine, and I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks because you and I have talked. We've talked off the air about this, and we've talked on the air about it. But we have talked about this. Just Joe having to go out and be perfect, right? The offense having to score on every drive. Can you imagine going to your job, Mon, every single day and saying, I absolutely have to be perfect? Now, you are your job, you have to save lives, right? That's what you do. You protect and you save lives. So if anyone's job has to be perfect,
we're still not perfect.
But you're still not. That's my point, right? That's my point is you're in the business of saving lives and you're still probably not perfect. I'm not perfect, right? Can you imagine going to your job every single day and thinking to yourself, I have to score a touchdown on every single drive. I cannot fumble the ball. I cannot throw a pick. I cannot make any mistakes because my defense is so shitty that if I make one mistake, I mean, look at what happened in the Buffalo game. The Bengals offense scored 34 points. Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdowns. He played his ass off. He made one mistake, and we have Bengal fans that are talking about we lost because of Joe Burrow. I mean, can you imagine? No wonder this guy is so stressed out. And again, whose fault is that, Mon? Whose fault is it that he has to go out and be perfect every single week? Whose fault is that?
All the above, everything I'm about to say. I think it's the front office. It's the player personnel people. It's the coaching staff that Zach Taylor assembled. They have been given some talented players. Or highly drafted players, and some of them haven't been properly developed. And I think it's all the above. And you're right. I mean, Paul Daner and Mo and Jay and on a podcast earlier this week, the Cincinnati Bengals can't survive a turnover on offense. They have to be perfect.
I know.
We can't have. They said this. You can't have 3 and outs. They can't have this, and that's what gets me, man. I mean, I love this fan base, but everybody just talks about we just need the defense to be a little bit better. No, we don't. We need the defense to be a lot better.
Yes.
Let's not shoot for this. Hey, man, if we're in the top 20, we'll be okay. No, we need to aim higher. We don't need that. We need to stop talking that way. And I just, I mean, if we have 2 punts, two, 3 and outs, we're screwed.
Mon, Jalen Hurts.
2 years.
Listen, Jalen Hurts against the Chargers this week threw 4 interceptions, and the game went into overtime, Mon, because the Eagles' defense goes out and gets stops. Jalen Hurts threw 4 picks, and they had a chance to win a football game at the end of in overtime. Yeah. If Joe Burrow threw 4 picks, Mon, he would get he would get ripped by everybody. and the Bengals would get beat by 40 points. Jalen Hurts throws 4, and you don't even hear about it because they barely lose a football game in overtime. Again, that's my point, is Joe Burrow. First of all, again, I will fight this until the very end. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL. He is 8-1 in his last 9 games behind an average offensive line and playing with probably the worst defense that we've seen in the NFL in the last decade. For 2 years in a row now, Joe Burrow has had that. It's just, it makes me nuts that Joe Burrow gets automatically, it's his fault. He threw a pick. That's why we lost. That's not why we lost. We lost because we have a 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. They're terrible. Again,
I just want to say something like real quick. I just said don't listen to the national media, but some of the comments that were made there about the Bengals offensive line, Orlovsky was saying it. A lot of fans are going after ESPN and all of it. Let me stick up for ESPN a little bit. What Dan was saying on the show today, he said Joe Burrow in his 6-year career has played behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, and they had the stats where they were ranked. Yeah. That's a fact. But then everybody goes, they don't watch the Bengals this year because the Bengals offensive line's turning the corner. Yeah, the Bengals offensive line is playing so well right now, probably the best in Joe's career over the last 6 games. 6 games is 6 games. It's not 6 years. So what they were saying on Get Up is factual. He's played behind. They had the stat up there. He's been hit more and sacked more than Andrew Luck was in his career in 23 less games. Think about that. Joe Burrow's been sacked and hit more than Andrew Luck was in 23 less games.
Mon, I'm gonna give you the stat that you're talking about. In 2020, the Bengals offensive line in pass pro win rate ranked 29th. In 2021, Mon, we went to the Super Bowl. They were 30th, 29th in 20, 30th in 21, right? 30th in 22, 27th in 23, 32nd in 24, 25th. They were in 25 this year. They're 28. Again,
they're getting better.
I'll say this 100 times and 100 more. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL. If Josh Allen played behind that line, if Lamar Jackson played behind that line, if Patrick Mahomes played behind that line, if any other quarterback in the history of the NFL played behind that bad of an offensive line, they would not win a football game. And Joe Burrow has not only won consistently, but has gone to 2 AFC championships.
I'm back.
I know, and played in a Super Bowl. So again, and what you were talking about earlier, Joe Burrow has been sacked 203 times, Mon, in 73 games. Now, we have talked about this before in the past, right? That these Joe Burrow plays, he plays a different style of football, right? Some of those sacks probably on Joe Burrow. But again, this is not an Andrew Luck situation either, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Joe Burrow, I'm sure the injuries, obviously he's lost basically 2 full seasons of his 6 in the NFL. But this is not an Andrew Luck situation. I think this is more of a situation, honestly, Mon, where Joe Burrow it's starting to get to him that this defense is not holding up their end of the bargain.
Let's get to Go ahead. I'm listening. Finish
your
thought.
I'm just saying that. I think that is what we are looking at, is that Joe Burrow is frustrated that they did not put this defense together better, that he's frustrated the same reason we are, right?
Yeah. Here's a good super chat. I'm going to post this super chat because it's everything we're talking about.
And I think we missed one. I think we missed another
I'll get
one.
that in a second. I'll get it in a
Okay.
second.
So KP from KC, thank you very much for the super chat. Jake Amon, they put Joe behind a line where none of the starters are still in the league, but one, they should be investigated.
Hey, the one he's talking about the Super Bowl line, because you're
Yes,
right.
he
I think
is.
Jonah, yeah. I mean, think about how good Joe Burrow is. I know we've talked about this on 50 episodes. It was a magical run to get to that Super Bowl, especially behind that offensive line, and they still made it work. And Jake, I agree with your take and what you're saying. Josh Allen, some of these other guys, if they've played behind the offensive line, listen, we have to give them some credit. They're playing a lot better this last 2 months.
They are.
I think Scott Peters is the answer for that offensive line. I'm happy. But overall, 95% of Joe's career, he's played behind very, very poor offensive lines. And it shows you how good Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are. They're still putting up points with that horrible line. But I think they could probably take it to another level if this line keeps on doing what it's doing. Thank you for that super chat.
Mon, yes, thank you very much, KP. Mon, I don't think he's pissed about the offensive line. I don't think he's pissed about the offensive line.
I don't think he is either. It has nothing to do with the offense. He's actually praised the offensive line.
Listen, this Bengals
it's about
offense,
losing. It's about losing. He doesn't care about stats. He wants to win.
It's about this shitty defense. I'm telling you. You know, he's a leader and he's a captain, and he can't come out and say what we can say. He can't come out there and in his presser and just absolutely berate the defense like he should. You're not going to see him doing that, right? Because that's just not right. And that's not what a leader does. That's not what a captain does. But I'm telling you right now, what we saw, it has something to do with the fact that Zach Taylor went out, hired his next door neighbor as the defensive coordinator, and let this guy put this shitty defense together. They got rid of Jermaine Pratt. They got rid of Logan Wilson. They basically, they got rid of DJ. I'm talking about just in this last 3 years. They got rid of DJ Reader. They got rid of Jesse Bates. Now Trey Hendrickson. Joe Burrow has got to be sitting there like, guys, I can't score 50 every single week, right? It's the NFL. I'm playing against the best players in the league. I can't be perfect. No one can be perfect every single week. And Joe Burrow has to be. That's the only chance we have of winning, Mon. We can't punt, not once. We can't turn the ball over, not once, because it's magnified when we do it. Because Zach Taylor and Al Golden, this whole front office, they have Duke Tobin. They have literally put a dog shit defense out there for 2 years in a row now. And now we're 3 years going without playoffs. We got a couple super chats here. I know we got to get to those.
Yeah. The first is fuzzy balls. You know what? We talked about this, the Guardian cap. Absolutely. Because
it says for our audio listeners, thank you once again, Fuzzy Balls. It says, I wouldn't let T play again in 2025 unless he's wearing a Guardian cap. T is too precious, a resource to mess around with. Agreed. Mon, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I agree. I mean, especially because I think they're going to catch a lot of hell, because I'm stunned that he came back in after the second knock on the head at the end of the game. I'm glad he did, because he scored that touchdown. But he had symptoms immediately after the game. That's not a shocker to me. I mean, massive concussion week 1. He was knocked out, or the week before. Then he comes back and plays, 10 days later, or 2 weeks later. And he's head bounced off the turf twice. That was scary. And I think a Guardian cap, I could see that in his future. That's a great question.
Yeah, I agree. Great comment there, Fuzzy. Thank you very much.
Got another one right here. Yeah, I agree.
Dolores, thank you very much, Dolores. The Bengals are the Rodney Dangerfield of football.
All you young people, he's one of the best comedians ever. All you youngins out.
We get no respect, right? I get no respect. Yes, agreed. Really, with the national media and all the pundits and everything else. Mon, when all this happened, I actually heard some moron on national television today, one of these talking head idiots that they they let get in front of a microphone for some reason. He said that this is Joe Burrow shouldn't be frustrated. It's his fault. Listen to this. You got to listen to this shit, man. This guy, I can't remember who it said. Was it on First Take, or it's one of those dumbass shows? But this idiot went on there and said, this is Joe Burrow's fault, that he has no right to be frustrated because Joe Burrow is the one that asked the front office to pay T, to pay Jamar, to bring back Gesicki. Like he's blaming Joe Burrow for being frustrated because Joe Burrow wants great players around him. Again, guys, let's be very clear. The Bengals front office had money. Even after signing those guys, the Bengals front office had money to get defensive help, and they chose not to do it because Zach Taylor and Al Golden and Duke Tobin they have their heads so far up each other's asses that they don't know where one begins and where one ends, Mon.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. I don't. I think it was the show after Get Up. I think it's First Take. I heard the comment also. You know, the team should never. Yeah.
Ross says Stephen A is the one that said that. I can't remember who it was. One of those idiots.
So what he did. Jamar Chase was signing regardless. I don't care who the quarterback was. T. Higgins, was a 50-50 thing, and then Joe made the comments, and he got re-signed also. Bengals have $25 million in cap space right now. The Bengals could have restructured those contracts and created another $15 million on top of the $25 million. The Bengals could have signed a few more quality free agents to help out and mentor this young defense. I think that could have been 2-3 potentially more victories. And guess what? We'd be talking about the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Adam Shine, somebody I respect a lot on national radio. He's on CBS NFL Today. What he said today was perfect. He goes, the Bengals only needed to get to the dance, which is the playoffs. And everybody would be talking about the Bengals, serious Super Bowl contenders. That's all they needed to do, and they dropped the ball in the offseason.
That's true.
They dropped the ball in the offseason. And, listen, everybody here, including me, including you, Jake, including Eric, including the people in here, we were intoxicated by these big contracts that they got. T. Higgins. We had a special show. They signed T and Chase. We're taking victory laps. And, hey, I'm happy. I'm still happy about it. But you know what? We sort of took our eye off the ball, too. Did they really fix their defense? Again, the Bengals were hoping, hey, we can't be as bad as we were in 2024. We got to be better. Well, guess what? They're actually worse. Cost us another playoff appearance. I hope they don't repeat that going into 2026. But, we don't have a time machine. I wish we did. We can't go back in time and fix that. But back to Joe's comments, I think, Joe, everything you mentioned, I think it's all the above. I think a lot of it is he sees where he wants his legacy to be one of the best in the NFL.
He's a competitor.
It's nowhere near that right now. And it's Jake, we can call him the best quarterback in the NFL, which I think he is. But nobody's going to agree if you don't have the wins. I mean, it's not fair. But, I mean, it is what it is. He's got to win. That's part of your legacy. And he's not winning in Cincinnati. And I'm telling you, I can't read his mind. But in my heart of hearts, I think that's what his frustration is.
Let's get to this other super chat here. Right here from Coop. Coop, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Coop says, Joe is obsessed with the game of football. That is our hope. Andrew Luck is not obsessed with anything, but is interested in everything. We would go to lectures at IUPUI on subjects he found interesting. Listen, Coop, I think this is such a great comment, Coop. Well said, my man. Well said. Listen, Coop's right. And again, that's why when I hear these pundits trying to dignify themselves and putting Andrew Luck and Joe Burrow. Listen, guys, Andrew Luck, people can say what they want to say, but Andrew Luck was a brainiac, right? He was a very intelligent person. He was involved with a lot of different things. And I'm not saying Joe's not, but Andrew Luck was involved in a lot of different things. Andrew Luck didn't love football like Joe Burrow loves football. Again, now I know it's hard to say that comment because we don't know those guys, but to me, Andrew Luck walking away from the game, that shows it. That shows it when he walked away from the game, and that's okay if he did. I don't have a problem with that. But for these pundits to try to compare Joe Burrow's situation with Andrew Luck's, Andrew Luck was, again, he was involved with all this other stuff, and Joe Burrow just wants to win. That's the difference. That is the difference between Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck. Is Joe Burrow is frustrated because he's not winning, which I don't blame him. Although he has gone 8-1 in his last 9 games, but going to the playoffs, right? Like you said, what's his legacy? And again, it's understandable that Joe Burrow is sitting here frustrated, being genuine on the mic, and maybe even making a comment in a backhanded way to this front office as far as something's got to change, right? Because this is not what I signed up for. Let me ask you this, Mon. Thank you so much, Coop, by the way. Let me ask you this. Do you think that Eric said this in our text group, and I thought about it more and more today. Do you think that Joe Burrow knows something that we don't? Maybe that Zach Taylor might be gone after this year? I thought that was kind of an interesting comment that Eric made in our text chat, that because they asked him, is it on the field, off the field? He said it's both. What do you think, Mon? Joe Burrow does think highly of Zach Taylor for some crazy reason. What do you think? Do you think that's something there?
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty speculation, obviously. It could be Joe could know. Maybe he's hearing chatter or something like that. Somebody else mentioned that on Twitter today, that they think Zach has done. Somebody that I followed for years, has a lot of followers. I just don't see it happening. I think the Bengals are going to keep him for another year, but that's another subject. Joe was very melancholy, very, I think the losing and the way they're losing is just really wearing on him. But maybe he does have some info. Maybe he knows, like, hey, Zach's dead man walking. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm torn. I said it a few weeks ago that he's going to be there in 2026. I still think he is, but you know what? I think it's closer to 50-50 now, because I was 100% sure he'd be back. He'll be the coach next year a couple episodes ago, but right now it's about 50-50.
Well, I think whatever happens, listen, I know you think that Zach will be back. I don't think Zach will be back. I think if the Bengals don't make the playoffs, I think Zach Taylor's gone. I still think that. I will stand by that. I thought he was going to be gone, honestly, at the break, but that didn't happen. But I will say this. If Zach Taylor is not gone, I really believe that they will blow this defense up. I really do believe that.
I think that's the reason he won't go, because they've already blown up the defense this year, and I think they're going to be 2 years behind if they bring in another coach and another defensive coach. I feel like they're going to go, man. I think that's the number one reason that this coaching staff will be back, because Al Golden was hired. Al Golden has only been given 12 games. Mike Brown and his family don't want to do that. They want to give him at least 2 years to see what he can do with this defense, and he's going to do it with Zach Taylor. And I think that's the main reason they're going to be here.
I just don't see it, Mon. I mean, let's be honest. At some point, and I know what you're saying, but at some point, Mon, the Browns have got to say, does Zach Taylor put people in the seats, or does Joe Burrow put people in the seats? Right? Are we going to put people around the guy that puts people in the seats, or are we gonna keep supporting a guy who? Again, and I don't want to put all of this on Zach Taylor because I think Duke Tobin has a big part of this too. But I mean, these guys are ruining a incredible roster, right? An incredible elite quarterback, elite receivers. Just it's just insane that we're going to be sitting home watching the playoffs again, and you just have these incredible players. I don't know if you saw Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase actually did the presser today, not Joe Burrow, which is very interesting, right?
I think Jamar does it. He does it every Thursday anyway. Joe has it on Wednesday.
Jamar does? I don't think Jamar does every Thursday.
Yeah, Jamar does one at his locker. He usually does one on Thursdays.
Well, this was an actual presser though.
Okay.
This was a presser in front of a microphone, and Jamar said he's like, listen, I'm just going to tell you guys, basically, you are making this into something that it's not. Talking about Joe Burrow and not being happy. He said Joe Burrow always has a smile on his face, and so Jamar kind of eased. I think he tried to ease the situation a little bit, but there is something definitely going on, Mon. And
yeah, well, you just made me think of something you said a few minutes ago. Andrew Luck is polar opposite of Joe Burrow. You mentioned it perfectly. Andrew Luck, he likes football. He doesn't love it. Joe he's like a psycho when it comes to football. And I think anybody that tries to compare the two, I think that's a little dramatic. And I think the national pundits and listen,
I think it's very dramatic.
Joe can be frustrated. Joe can be. He said it. Well, he said it in his press conference. He said everything. Yeah. And they can all be true, but I don't think his career is going to end up like Andrew Luck, where he's going to walk away. I don't see that happening. Can he get? Now, listen, Bengal fans, don't take this the wrong way. 2027, 2028, things are status quo the way things are happening now. I can see Joe Burrow saying, "Hey, man, enough is enough. It's been 3 years since that press conference. You haven't done anything. Trade me." I'm not saying that's going to happen now. It's not going to happen next year. But if they don't rectify some of these issues, it could happen.
I agree.
And that's the one thing that I take it serious. And if we as fans just say, hey, screw the national media, they're out to get the Bengals, which I think they are. It's what Joe said at that press conference. It's sort of a disservice to him. We're ignoring what he said.
Yeah.
You know, and we need to listen to the guy. I mean, we as fans, we don't really have a lot of say, so we don't have to go buy tickets. We don't have to buy shirts. But that front office
needs to listen to him. Yeah.
The front office needs to listen to him.
100%. That's who needs to listen to him is the damn front office. And I think they will, Mon. Listen again. They're not invested almost $300 million in Zach Taylor. Right? I mean, Joe Burrow, the frustration and everything that goes into it, I'm just telling you. I am telling you right now, the Browns are a lot of things, but I don't believe that they would ever jeopardize Joe Burrow and they know what they have in Joe Burrow is what I'm saying. They know what they have, and there's no way they're ever going to jeopardize Joe Burrow. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason, and obviously we still have some games to talk about, but definitely I don't see Zach Taylor coming back if they don't make the playoffs. But let's get to one of those games because, again, the Bengals still are playing football. They have 4 games left. And some crazy way, Mon, they are still not out of this thing. If the Baltimore Ravens lose 2 out of the last 4, and the Steelers lose 3 of the last 4, and the Bengals win their last 4, some crazy freaking way the Bengals are going to win this division, which still makes absolutely zero sense. But before we get to Bengals Ravens, let's get Fuzzy Balls. Fuzzy Balls here has a super chat. Mon, if you'll put that up.
Sure.
Fuzzy Balls, once again, man, thank you so much. Says, I don't speak for everyone, but win or lose, it's a privilege to watch 9-1-5. Agreed, man.
Oh, yes, sir. I do too. Yes, sir, Fuzzy. Thank you.
We get to see things. That we've never seen before. Regardless if we were making the playoffs, I'm still excited to watch. I'm with you. I'm with you, Fuzzy. I'm honored to watch those three players, but I still want to make the play. We got to get back to the playoffs, man. That run, those 2 years were just some of the best years as a Bengal fan, and I've been a Bengal fan since '81. So let's get back to that. All right, let's get to the Ravens Bengals. Mon, this game is in Cincinnati. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, the Bengals beat the Ravens on Thanksgiving night. It looks like Shamar and T were both at practice today, which just would be absolutely wild if T. Higgins played this football game. But he is a warrior. And again, you said it last week, Mon. If anybody ever badmouths T, man, that dude is a warrior. He has played through so much. I have so much respect for T. Higgins. Love the guy.
You see what happens when he plays with contract security? He wants to come back and play every week.
Yeah.
He's protected for the next few years. He's got big guaranteed money. Players will play through pain when they have that.
Well, let's talk about this because the Ravens are, again, it's crazy, right? That the Bengals are getting all of this shit from the national media. The Ravens, Mon, are in total disarray. Losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers last week in really a must-win game. And now they come to Cincinnati really with their season on the line, to be honest with you. Bengals, Ravens, Mon, do you like this matchup? It's kind of weird even talking about this because we literally played. We just talked about this 2 weeks ago. But what do you think? Are we going to see some of the same stuff that we saw 2 weeks ago? Again, that the Bengals offense for Joe Burrow's first game back looked great. No T. Higgins that game, and we still scored almost 40. This Ravens defense looks like they are just in shambles right now. Do you like this matchup once again, like you did 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, they're playing at home. I always like that, and I do think the Bengals are going to win this game. We'll talk the actual numbers here in a few minutes. Another thing, I wish I could make this pick, 5 minutes into the game. I just said they're going to win, but I want to see how the Bengals react because they have had so many shocking losses over the last few years. Sooner or later, there might be a checkout moment or there might be a business decision moment or like, hey, get the U-Hauls ready kind of moment. I hope I don't see that. The first 5 minutes of the game is going to tell me how hard they're playing. If they're out there popping people, if they're running hard, if they're, the passion is there. But I think the Bengals will come out and play hard. They're not officially eliminated. They're not. I hope, miracles happen. I hope they can get to the dance. I just want to repeat what Adam Shine said. The AFC is wide open, and that's what makes this a shame, not winning some of these games earlier. All you need to do is get to the dance. All right. The 11-2 New England Patriots don't scare anybody. The Buffalo Bills, who we should have beat last week, they don't scare anybody. And you just got to get to the dance. And daggone it, we didn't do it. That's what makes me so sick about this season, man. The AFC is so wide open. But yes, I do think the Bengals are going to show up. You're right. I'm stunned about the Ravens. I thought the Ravens had the best roster in the NFL. Going into the season, they're falling apart. Lamar isn't Lamar. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what's going on there. Teams are going all out to stop the run, and it's limiting their big play receivers that they have, the few ones they have. Their defense, Kyle Hamilton, is still Kyle Hamilton, but you can run on the Ravens. You can run on them, which is an odd thing because they're really stocky up front, and they're really usually good at stopping the run. Not this year.
What's crazy, Amon, is the Bengals are 4-9, right? The Bears game, the Jets game, Patriots game, Bills game. This team easily should be 8-5, and I think that's probably again where we're seeing some of this frustration with Joe Burrow. But you're right. This Bengals team, they played so well against the Ravens in Baltimore. That's what I'm really curious about. I'm curious about how is this team going to react? How are they going to come out and play football after all of this shit has gone on this week? Joe Burrow's situation, obviously a big part of that. All these players talk about how much they respect him, how much they love him. Going to be interesting to see if this defense plays harder. Again, I think the frustrations have mounted up, and I think that with Joe Burrow in this offense, again, we saw it from Chase Brown. We saw it from Chase Brown when he came out and ripped the defense and got held, got in trouble for it. Came out and said what everybody's thinking. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of this team on Sunday, and if this defense really does come out and play football. Again, I'm going to just tell you, Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight, anytime those two guys take the field, you're playing with 9 guys. You really are. I mean, they are just – they're the worst linebackers in the NFL. And it's one of those things where do the Ravens get the run game going? The Bengals, let's not forget, the Bengals turned them over 5 times 2 weeks ago. Those 5 turnovers were a big reason why this Bengals team won a football game. Can the Bengals, can they repeat that? Can they go out and they create 5 turnovers? Because if they can't create 5 turnovers, I don't see this defense stopping anybody. So, once again, I think that is the key to this football game. The matchup of this football game is this Bengals defense. Can they go out and slow down this Ravens offense that did not look good again last week against a not very good Pittsburgh Steelers team? Can the Bengals go out and do that? I think they will. I think this team will show up for Joe Burrow. But before we get to that game let's do the AFC North predictions. Here we go. Browns at Bears. The 3-10 Browns at the 9-4 Bears. Mon, who you like in this one?
The Browns are not going to win. The Bears had a tough loss last week. If they would have won that game last week, I think it'd be a classic trap game, but it's not going to be. I think the Bears are going to win this game. I have it at 24-13. They're not going to score, 30, 40 points. The Browns defense is good, but the Bears 24-13.
I'm with you. I almost had the same score. I like the Chicago Bears. I think, again, this is in Chicago, and the Bears are playing for their playoff lives. Listen, we talk about how shitty the AFC is. The NFC, just the opposite. A lot up for grabs right now in the NFC, in the Bears division even, right? The Packers, the Bears, the Lions, oh my. The Bears have to win this football game at home against the Cleveland Shits. This game will not be close, Mon. I'm going to say Bears 30, Browns 10. All right, here we go. On, I believe, is it Monday night? Yeah, it's Monday night. Monday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 6-7 Dolphins have turned it on here recently, winning some football games. Dolphins at Steelers, Mon. Who you like in this one?
I want the Dolphins to win, but they're not in prime time in Pittsburgh. It's not going to happen. Sorry, guys. 28-17 Pittsburgh over the Dolphins, and I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong.
Well, I'm going to talk this into existence because they have to win. So I'm going to say Dolphins 28, Steelers 27 on a last-second field goal. The Miami Dolphins win because they have to win, Mon. They absolutely have to win. So come on, Dolphins. Please, please, please. All right. Ravens at Bengals, a rematch from 2 weeks ago that the Bengals won very handily in Baltimore on Thanksgiving night. Do the Ravens get revenge, Mon, or does this Bengals team rally around their quarterback and come out and play great football? Come on, Bengals defense. What happens in this football game, Mon? What do you see?
The defense is not going to get 5 turnovers, but they're going to have to make some stops. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those games where Joe has to be almost perfect. He has to be almost perfect. Cincinnati's going to win a shootout. It's going to be a 38-35 game. Cincinnati wins.
Oh God, I can't. I don't know if I can take another one of those, Mon. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't think I could take another one of those. So I'm gonna talk this into existence. I don't want to see that. I think the Bengals win this football game. I'm gonna say 35-17, and I think this defense, please, please, defense, please. I think this defense comes out and plays hard for their quarterback because he just kind of backhanded them in the face, which he should do. I think they play hard for Joe Burrow, and I think we see maybe not 5 turnovers, but I'm going to say the Bengals defense turns the ball over 3 times, and Joe Burrow has a great football game. Bengals win 35-17. Let's get to Fuzzy Balls here before we get out of here. Fuzzy, thank you once again, man. We appreciate it so much. Fuzzy says, imagine if we had just drafted Carson Schlesinger instead of Shamar Stewart. Schlesinger is such a great-looking linebacker. Listen, Fuzzy, I'm going to throw this out here. I wanted Jahad Campbell over Shamar Stewart. Jahad Campbell is probably going to win the defensive rookie MVP. Imagine having Jahad Campbell at linebacker right now. Mon, what do you think?
Yeah, Schlesinger is playing really well. That's nice. That Browns defense is solid. He's around really good players. We need our guys to develop. We need this 2024 draft to be a good one, or 2025 draft. I still have high hopes for Stewart. I know it's not pretty.
Oh, man.
We'll see how it shakes out. Jake, man, honestly,
I know. Listen,
you can't say that. We can't call them busts. That's silly talk, man.
Oh, Mon, I don't know if it's silly. I hope it's not, Mon. I hope it's not. But when you see in Jahad Campbell and all these other guys lighting it up, it's hard not to say bust, Mon. Like, Shamar's going to have to be really good for it not to be a bust. Like, he's going to have to be a 10 to 15 sack guy with the way some of these other guys are playing that we passed up.
He could be a bust. He really could be. But
can we put KP?
I'm going to wait 2 to 3 years before I call him a bust.
I hope he's still on the team. Can you put KP from KC's Jake? This is great. Jake got more faith than a kid in Santa Claus. You know what, KP? I needed that. I really did. I appreciate that. Yes, you're right. I probably do.
Was he a Penn State defensive end, Courtney Brown?
Yes, Courtney Brown.
Yeah, he was from Penn State. Yeah, he was a bust. Man, you're right.
Courtney Brown.
Please, Courtney, don't say that.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you. What Fuzzy said? Mon holding his rosaries.
I thought the camera was off. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, Mon, we are just catching strays here. It's great. Guys, thank you so much. We love you guys. We appreciate you so much. We are going to get out of here. We will be live. We are going to be grayer and gray. It is getting grayer and grayer. It's time for that just for men, Mon.
The ladies like it. Okay.
Guys, we're going to be live here after the Bengal game on Sunday. Hopefully, it's not another crash out session. Hopefully, we're celebrating a win. But thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. Eric, we just want to say thoughts and prayers to you and your family. Hopefully everything is going good. We love you, brother. Hopefully we'll see you here on Sunday. But we will be live after the Bengals game on Sunday, hopefully to talk about another Bengals win. As always, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify. As always, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you give us that 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. As always, follow Mon on Twitter at @TheFireMon. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash with 2 H's 88. Follow the Cincinnati Podcast Network on Twitter at CincinnatiPod. And as always, guys, follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at the Bengals Pulse. The same on Instagram and TikTok without the @the Bengals Pulse. And as always, guys, make sure you check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Cincinnati Podcast Network. Mon, I just did all that, by the way, with nothing on the screen. Come on now. That's pretty good, right?
It is good. That's good because I had to do it. I would say, guys, just tune in. That's it. That's all I would say.
Hey, Mom, by the way, I don't know what has been going on all night, but you saw Wayne's World, right? The movie Wayne's World. Remember when they did the extreme close-up? I don't know what's been going on with your camera, but every 2 minutes it zooms out and then it zooms right back.
I have it set up that way. Because if you notice when I move, it follows me.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it follows me.
That's wild, man. It's like extreme close-up, that kind of thing.
I have an advanced MacBook Pro, everybody. All right.
Oh, geez. Oh, boy.
All right.
All right, guys. Hey, we love you. We appreciate you. We will see you on Sunday after the game. Who Dey, Bengal fans? We will see you soon. Hopefully, we're celebrating that victory.
Oilers just scored 2-0. Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, I got to log off. It's not airing. You're like, what's going on?
You're like giving the peace out, and you're the one that's got to do this. Who Dey, guys?
I'm such a moron. Okay.